What's up, family? Hit subscribe and always check the description and the pinned comment down below. Quick disclaimer, I am not a doctor and this is not medical advice. Anything said is from my experience and for entertainment purposes only. Always check with your doctor and the laws of your country before adding anything into your regimen. Check out the new video. What's up, guys? So today I want to talk about a few topics that I have been asked recently and actually been in a few debates about. So real quick, let me just say that I am no expert, I'm no scientist, so everything I am saying is just from my personal experimentation and from my personal research that I have done. And I've talked with a lot of people in this field. I've done a lot of research. So I'm just going to report back to you what I believe I know and some of my own theories. Alright, so real quick, let me just say I've heard people say Sarms have no side effects, and then I've heard people say Sarms have crazy side effects. So I'm just going to address those. The Sarms have no side effects thing. It's just wrong. It was, people talked about them and compared them to steroids. So people were under the impression that Sarms basically have no side effects. And that's just wrong. Real quick, they can, suppress your testosterone production. They may be a little harsh on the liver. Nothing compared to like a methylated steroid or anything like that. So don't get that twisted. But they can raise your liver values a little bit. They can make your body work a little harder. They can raise your blood pressure a little bit. They can fuck with your cholesterol a little bit. Mind you, when Sarms were around or invented, let's say, they were at minimal dose. I'm talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 milligram dosages, daily dosages. We take a lot more. So most research that you see are going back to the scientific studies. They're not talking about the bodybuilding dosages that we use. So you can't put in perspective what a tiny little rat did or the scientific studies did when we're going 10 times that. So just keep in mind that the fact is we're doing a lot more, and with just about anything on earth, when you do a lot more of something, the side effects are going to be a lot more profound. But one of the debates I've been on, so there's that aspect. People think they have, you can run them forever, you can do this, you can do that, no PCT is needed, blah, 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 and that's just wrong. But then there's the other side of the spectrum too, where I've actually been in a debate, a couple debates about this recently, where people are coming out of the woodwork with Sarms cause gyno, hair loss, all sorts of shit, and I'm like, well, that's news to me. So let me address that. Real quick, Sarms don't convert into estrogen. Okay, they like scientifically the build-up, the makeup of them does not convert into estrogen. That does not mean you're not going to get any estrogen problems. I'll get into all that in a second. And the hair loss thing. There was, when S23 came out, my man Tony Huge was going through some shit in his personal life. He was under a lot of stress, and I believe he was taking something, I forget exactly what it was, but he was taking something, it might have been for cholesterol or for blood pressure. Don't hold me to that because I'm not sure. I don't remember. It was well over a year ago. But he was taking something else along with the SARM, and he felt his hair thinning out. So his first vlog that he did on the SARM, he mentioned how his hair looked thin, and he thinks it's causing balding, and he's gonna stop. He's gonna stop taking it for that reason. That caused a panic in the Sarms world when it came to S23, and some people just can't get that out of their head. They never looked up the actual later videos or anything like that. So So people still have in their mind about the hair loss issue. Let me get into where this gyno thing came from. First of all, I'm just going to say this. If you get gyno from Sarms, chances are you were sold fake Sarms. Plain and simple. You were sold something that actually converts into estrogen and you took it for a prolonged amount of time and you got gyno because you did not have the AIs on hand that everybody should have no matter what they're taking. You didn't have the proper things needed to combat these side effects. Whatever you take, you should have everything on hand to combat side effects that may arise. Whether or not you're expecting them to, it's never, you should always have them on hand, because if a side effect does happen, you can treat it then and there instead of having to place an order, wait for a paycheck, wait for the mailman, blah, blah, blah. So, I believe if you got gyno from Sarms, you were sold something bunk. Now, when Sarms first originated and came around and the whole research chemical thing jumped up and got big, companies had a lot of the old school pro hormones, and I'm talking rip-off companies, bullshit companies. They might have been legit, but they created a sister company and they could skate under the research chemical, legal thing and sell off their pro hormones. And that's what a lot of companies did. Like a lot of companies had millions of dollars of pro hormones in inventory and they needed to get rid of it. So you might have had 2 good companies selling Sarms when you got 5 bad ones just getting rid of their inventory, So a lot of people had all these issues building up when Sarms first came around, and that's where I believe half of these, people have it stuck in their head. I believe that's where that came from. Now, Sarms, when you're taking them, they will suppress your natural testosterone. Everybody's different. Every body is different. Everybody reacts differently to things. So there's no textbook to any of this stuff, which is why I say, have your PCT on hand, whether or not it's 8 weeks away. Have your AIs on hand, whether or not you're only taking a SARM, But I'm just going to dive into this real quick. So what a SARM does, it attaches to your AR, what the hell? It attaches to your receptor. I'm forgetting the word right now. It's not anabolic. It's they attach to the androgen receptor. Excuse me, I got a fly flying around here. It's fucking with me. They attach to the androgen receptor. So does your testosterone. Now we are always making receptors. Every day we make new receptors, which is another thing people don't understand. But when your body senses these receptors are full, the SARM, it actually attaches to the receptor harder than testosterone, so it kind of blocks it. And when your body senses that, it slows down production. That's where the suppression comes from. Your body is tricked into thinking you have enough testosterone so we can back it off a little bit. Okay, when really there's no testosterone filling that void, which is why I always recommend you take a 4-andro or a test base with a SARM. But there's that void there. Now what actually happens until that suppression hits, the testosterone that can't hit the receptor is floating around. Now that does convert to estrogen, okay, but it's not at an inhuman amount, it's not something you're taking that is converting into estrogen, causing a panic of estrogen, which is where gyno will happen. Gyno does take some time to actually form too. It's not going to happen overnight. You might get flare-ups. You can feel it happen very quickly, but the actual hard lumps, I believe, takes, enough time to where you can adjust to it. You can, like I said, if you have everything on hand, you can combat that, But, so you will maybe, and again, there's no textbook to this. So you may actually get a little bit of flare-up. Now, when it comes to an AI for a SARM, a simple natural AI, aromatase inhibitor, something that prevents the conversion of testosterone into estrogen. What is it that... it's not aromasin, it's not Arimidex. You don't need to go that strong for a SARM, but you can have it on hand. It will not hurt. Arimistane. Arimistane is a natural one, or it's not a natural, but it's not a crazy one. It's not going to kill your estrogen. It's not going. It's nothing you need. I mean, it's a little weak for a steroid cycle, but for a SARM, that's really all you need. you know. And you could take it once a day. You could take it however you need to take it. Again, everybody is different, but at least have things on hand. So when your body is beginning to sense that the receptors are full, we can kick back, you know, the testosterone production. There's going to be a little flare up of estrogen, but the SARM does not convert to estrogen, so that will eventually go away with the suppression comes, and there's not as much testosterone to convert. So on the scientific level, a SARM cannot physically cause gyno. Your body may be able to cause gyno because of the way it's adjusting to the SARM, but the SARM itself cannot cause gyno. You know, and some people just can't get there. Well, I took a SARM and I got this and I got that. Well, you were sold fake SARMs. You know what I mean? Or your nipples might have got a little sensitive, maybe a little puffy again, which is all, you know, somewhat normal if you have a lot of estrogen floating around naturally. If you have a lot of estrogen floating around, you're not used to feeling that way without the testosterone. So you might feel them little bit of side effects, you know. You do what you got to do. You take the proper, you know, procedures and you handle it and you're done, you know. And it's really not that hard. And it did take me a while because I was one of those that somewhat believed there weren't side effects because it doesn't convert, you know, so there's no way I can have an estrogen problem. It's not testosterone, so there's no way I'm going to need a PCT, blah, blah, blah. But you learn, you know, you research more, you experiment with yourself a few times and you learn. You know, that's what we do here. That's why I make these videos, because I've done this. So hopefully you can learn from me. And you won't need to make some of the mistakes I made in my early stages a few years ago getting into this stuff, you know. So there's that. Again, I'm just going to reiterate it. SARMs do not convert into estrogen, but your body may react differently and cause maybe some extra estrogen. Lower your testosterone because of the reasons I've already stated. The liver toxicity. Now, on paper, they're not liver toxic. But when you're taking 10, 20, 30 times the dosages that were studied, you never know. I did have blood work done. I believe it was like 2-3 weeks after a SARM cycle. I'm not sure what it was. My numbers were up 5, 6, maybe 10. Maybe it was 12 or something. Nothing, you know, it's nothing to worry about. Not from a SARM, you know. And so there was nothing to be scared of. Liver toxic, it went up a few numbers. So what? So does a hard day at work. So does stress. So does a few drinks of alcohol, you know. So there's nothing... You know, but when you take a methylated compound, it can jump up hundreds, you know. So that's the difference there. They can be liver toxic, but it's not anything to panic over. During your PCT, I always recommend, you know, you take Tudka. Narrows has a great product. Wolverines, I created it. It's got Tudka NAC, things for your kidney, things for your prostate, your heart. It's got a lot of things in there for an all-around cycle support, and people think, well, it's only needed on cycle, and that's not true, because if your liver numbers did jump up during whatever you were taking during your PCT is when you can really bring them down the most. So there is that. And the hair loss aspect. DHT and the way your body reacts to it is what mostly causes hair loss. I don't react that way to DHT, but I know somebody who took a Winstrol for the first time and damn near became bald because of it, because his body can't handle the DHT. I'm not sure if SARMs convert to DHT. I do think I've seen 1 or 2 may have, but it's nowhere near the amount of a steroid. Again, people, there's 2 points of the spectrum. They got these crazy side effects, they got no side effects. We really just need to educate yourself and realize there might be a little bit of both. So it's really not that hard. Just educate yourself, know what you're doing, know what you're getting into ahead of time, have everything on hand ahead of time, and jump into your cycle and be ready. You got a little flare up, your nipples are a little sensitive more than normal one day, you take an AI that day, second, third day maybe, until they feel normal again. You know, it's not really that hard. You get off your SARM, you take a PCT no matter what. Run the SARM long enough though until you can get your benefits. I have a video, you can check it out about my new SARMs theory. You take 4-andro with your Sarms because even though you might not feel the suppression, there's other parts of your body that might. So you take the 4-andro just to convert to a little bit of extra testosterone that your body's slowly ramping down the production of. You take your 4-andro just to help that out a bit, and your PCT afterwards. Done. You know, you just got to educate yourself on this, guys. Don't come at me. Don't hit me up in the forums. Not me precisely, but don't be posting stupid shit in the forums trying to scare people away from Sarms or trying to make Sarms seem like the holy grail. They are very good. You know, they can do a lot of good things. I'm getting great gains while being on TRT and taking Sarms. I'm not taking any steroids right now, and I really don't need to. And, you know, that's just the way it is. You do things properly and you stay healthy, you know. Anybody can look good. Anybody can take a bunch of crazy shit. It's not that hard. You just got to eat right and take a bunch of crazy shit, you know. But what's the health benefits? What's the health you're sacrificing? I'm a father, you know, so I'm trying to stay as healthy as I can in this journey. And that's why I got my new theory, and that's why I'm slowing things down with the hardcore stuff. I want to see what can happen without steroids, you know. Not that I hate steroids. I may jump on one in a few months, you know. It's going through. I'm going back and forth with it. I'm not sure yet. But just do things safely. Do things, you know, it's people that go all out and hurt themselves and look stupid and take a cycle that's this long on paper, you know, that gives this industry kind of or this sport kind of a bad name, because nobody can, no realistic person can live up to that. You know, nobody can usually afford or even have the ability to handle taking shit like that, you know. So, you know, just be safe, guys. Know what you're getting into. Do your research. Don't listen to everybody. Ask 10 different people before you form an opinion. Same thing when it comes to working out. I talk to 10 different coaches, and I'll pick a little from him, and I'll pick a little from him, and I'll take a little from her. Trust me, I've learned a lot from women in the gym. And I'll make my own opinions, and I'll form my own routine. But there's a little bit of everybody, you know. There's a little bit of knowledge from this guy on YouTube. Google, this site. I take things from everywhere. I want to be as informed as I can before doing anything. So, you know, are Sarms bad? Like the title of this video? Hell no, Sarms aren't bad. They're great, you know. They're very good if used properly with the right expectations. Are they totally safe? No. Are they going to kill you? No. Are they anywhere near as dangerous as steroids? No. So there it is, guys. Hope you like it. Keep it real.